If you love chilling mysteries, unsolved cases, and a touch of mom-style humor, Moms and Mysteries is the podcast you've been searching for. Hey guys, I'm Mandy.
And I'm Melissa. Join us every Tuesday for Moms and Mysteries, your gateway to gripping, well-researched true crime stories. Each week, we deep dive into a variety of mind-boggling cases as we shed light on everything from heists to whodunits. We're your go-to podcast for mysteries with a motherly touch. Subscribe now to Moms and Mysteries wherever you get your podcasts.
Hello to everybody who's about to have a very life-changing 48 hours. It's Beautiful Anonymous. 1 hour, one phone call, no names, no holds barred.
I'd rather go one-on-one. I think it'll be more fun, and I'll get to know you, and you'll get to know me.
Hi everybody, Chris Gethard here. I know not everybody loves an intro, and I'm here to provide. So please consider checking out punchup.live/Chris Gethard for my touring tickets. Consider signing up for Beautiful Anonymous Plus. And in the meantime, if you just want to get to the phone call, you're going to want to skip about 5 minutes. That'll put you in the last minute of the intro and put you right by the beginning of the phone call. Enjoy it. Hi everybody, Chris Gethard here. Welcome to Beautiful Anonymous. I feel so lucky to be talking to you, as always. It's so genuine. I'm up here in the spare bedroom where I record the show. I also have to say thanks. I was in this same spare bedroom. Some of you got to see it when we did our Q&A with Charity Woodrum, also known as Whirlpool Galaxy, new subject / star of the documentary Space, Hope, and Charity, which is not an easy watch. It's full of some very sad situations, but it's also full of so much hope and so much inspiration. And track down the film, see how you can support it. Go to their website because Charity's one of our own. And if you remember that Whirlpool Galaxy call, man, the story just keeps unfolding. One of the things we talked about in the Q&A, I can't believe how many layers there are to this story. And the story's not over yet. Thanks to everybody who has signed up at beautifulanonymous.com for BA+. You can do it right through your phone, right through your episode description on most browsers, most podcast listening apps. Blank podcast readers. What do people call them? Anyway, I like to give updates. They have severely slowed down. These signups have severely slowed down. We're at 864 total. Thanks to all 864 of you for signing up. Hopefully, a bunch more of you are interested. We got, first of all, ad-free episodes, extra time with each caller every single week. If you're up on that upper tier, you also get a number once a month that only people on that tier have access to. And the upper tier also gets a follow-up call with a past caller of note. It's a good thing. We feel really good about it. Thanks so much. I'm feeling good, everybody. If you are downloading this the day that it comes out, which is July 30th, 2024, I'll be performing in Pittsburgh tonight. Tomorrow night, July 31st, I'll be in Morgantown, West Virginia. The Pittsburgh show is just about sold out. The West Virginia show is sad. A sadly low number of tickets for that one. I'm also teaching some workshops for Laughing Together in West Virginia Wednesday morning, which is why we did this little mini tour in the middle of the week. And that's been going so good. The stories I have about going into schools and sending other artists into schools, someday I'll set aside time to just fill you all in, but it's eye-opening. Schools need help. And these artists really have the ability to help. And we're getting in there and we're seeing things and having reactions with students, both kids and teachers, where the artists are walking away going, oh, we can do a ton of good with this. And it's joyous. It's joyous. You know what else was joyous while simultaneously being life-changing in a terrifying way was when Cal was born. And if you're a long-time listener to the show, you remember how much my life changed. And I think maybe some of you listening picked up on personality changes that were happening with me before I even fully sensed them, and priority shifts before I had even realized they were setting in. I bet some of you started to detect them. I bet some of you are chuckling right now going, yeah, I remember after Chris had a kid, I got to listen week by week as he just kind of became a slightly but clearly different person. Guess what? Our caller this week is calling us from one of the most specific windows of time that you could ever call somebody. Our caller is a guy. He is in a hospital with his partner, and they have induced labor, and they are just awaiting the arrival of their first kid. And it could happen any minute, and we get to listen to it. And before you say a word, you're going to hear that when that info comes out, one of the very first things I say is, are you sure that being on this podcast right now is the best use of this time? So I'm aware, everybody. I'm aware. I called it out. But we got to talk. We got to talk about a lot of things, about impending fatherhood, the changes that are coming, the things to expect. Also got to talk to their partner about how she's doing and how she's feeling, and make sure you stay for her portion of the call because you will fall in love with her and understand why they have chosen to be a couple because, man, they're both really cool. But as soon as she got talking to Andrea and I started typing back and forth in the doc of like, whoa, this couple, he was already pretty cool. And then she just pushed it over the top. And we talk a lot about it. Not just where they're at with being parents, but also where they come from, who their dads were, the generational habits sent down the line, how lonely it can be to be the person asked to break a cycle of that sort. You'll see what I mean. Also, coming from a specific world, but also walking in between worlds because of it. It's a lot to think about. And I remember those last few hours before Cal was born, and you start thinking about specific things. And if somebody told me to say them out loud on a podcast, I'm not sure how I would feel about it. So thanks to our caller for taking the chance and for calling us. Thanks to both of you for talking to us. And we recorded this, just so everybody knows, probably, I think 5 days ago from when you're hearing this. So this has gone down. This delivery has happened. And let's everybody out there listening send really positive thoughts to this extraordinarily cool couple upon the birth of their first. And enjoy the call, everybody.
Thank you for calling Beautiful Anonymous. A beeping noise will indicate when you are on the show with the host.
Hello?
Hi.
How's it going?
I'll tell you what. I'm hanging on by a thread. That's okay.
I hear you there. I kind of feel like I'm in the same boat at the moment.
Oh, no. What's going on with you?
Well, I'm currently in the hospital right now, and I'm sitting here looking at my wife. We're on our way to having our first child right now, so I'm kind of panicking.
Okay. Well, congrats on the child. Wait, you're in the hospital as a patient, or you're in because the baby's coming?
No,
I missed something.
The baby, yeah. So my wife's in the hospital right now, in the hospital bed in front of me. She's getting induced. So we're
currently
on our way to having our first child. Yeah, currently, right now. I'm sitting in the hospital looking at her in the hospital bed.
Does she know you're on the phone with me? She might not like that, dude. She might need your focus and attention.
No, she's aware. We're kind of we kind of came in a little bit early than the anticipated due date, so it's really slow going right now. We're kind of just sitting here bored.
But the actual inducing has happened.
So I don't know exactly. Again, this is my first child, so I don't really know how this whole process works. But they, so far, they've been putting the whatever it is, some sort of medication in the cervix to try to get her to start dilating. And so, we're kind of going through that process right now. And yeah, it's still slow going. I guess nothing's really moving yet so far. So I think we still got a long ways to go.
Well, congrats. And also, if you need to go at any point, either because things get real or because you realize that this is a not great idea to be on the phone, whenever you need to go, you can go.
Of course. Yeah, I think we'll be okay for an hour, hour and a half. Like I said, I'm pretty sure we're going to be here for the next few days at minimum.
Yeah. Well, I hope it goes smooth. I hope everybody's happy and healthy, and that it's as drama free as possible, because even the most standard version of it is pretty goddamn head spinning.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, we've been together since we were 17, and we're around 34 now. So we've been going back and forth on whether or not we wanted to have a kid or not for the longest time. So finally going through this process has been, yeah, like you said, it's been very head spinning. We initially decided to start trying about a year or two ago, and when she first got pregnant, we found out it was an ectopic pregnancy. So
oh no,
we had to go through that whole process of terminating the pregnancy, and then waiting that time for that medication to leave the system, and then deciding on whether or not we wanted to try again. And then we did want to try again, and so now, yeah, we're finally here, and it's so far so good.
Well, that's nice to hear. I have heard that an ectopic pregnancy is a nightmare, so I'm sorry you guys had to go through that.
Yeah, it was definitely an interesting process. We were doing our research and trying to see how extreme and how dangerous it can be, and yeah, it's something that you got to get taken care of pretty quickly. And so we had been trying for so long that the first OBGYN that we went to, he was pretty adamant that that it was an ectopic pregnancy, even though they couldn't see anything on the ultrasound. But we wanted to try to get a second opinion, so we went to a second doctor, and they had us do some blood tests and whatnot, and then eventually, yeah, it was definitely an ectopic pregnancy. So then we had to take her to the emergency room and kind of get that medication administered, and yeah, it was a whole process.
Horrible. And I know that,
yeah,
that must make the process of it's it has come up on the show more and more over the years, especially as more and more of the listeners and more of the callers are reaching an age and becoming parents. But all of the sort of things that remain taboo to talk about surrounding pregnancy, including miscarriages, ectopic pregnancies, these types of things, like people don't talk about them. And then, not to make any excuses, and I don't think that this is right, especially being the guy partner.
yeah.
I know that when my wife and I kind of crossed over and decided we wanted to get pregnant, and then started trying on our end, you start to realize, I'd like to think I'm a pretty curious person, reasonably intelligent, and open to others and open to life experiences. And goddamn, was I ignorant to how closed off the conversation around all this stuff is. And I wonder if you ran into that too.
Yeah, I mean, I think my wife and I are pretty open. So, I mean, it's been easy to talk about, with our parents and stuff. And some of our close friends, it's been easy to talk about. But yeah, I don't know. I kind of understand what you're saying, the taboo. Like, when you talk about that with like maybe your coworkers or, people at work, it gets a little bit more, I don't know, I guess awkward to talk about. Yeah, it kind of seems like it's something that it feels weird to talk about, I guess. And I don't know why that is.
It's also just on a personal level, when you've been through something as jarring, if not outright scary, as an ectopic pregnancy, it can create a lot of nerves the next time you get pregnant, and a lot of restlessness and paranoia. And I don't know if you went through that, but I know that that's a pretty common thing. It can be a really scary thing to go through when you've already had it kind of go sideways prior.
Yeah, I think it was I think once we realized how, important it was to get back into the emergency room and see how important it was to get it taken care of, it was a little stressful like then, but I don't know. I think we're both kind of, I don't know. I guess we were both kind of, I don't know. We haven't really had those worries the second time around. I think it's just very, very, very rare that happens, the ectopic. But of course, like, it would happen that the first time that we do get, try to get pregnant, that it would happen. It was kind of crazy how the odds were so small, but that happened. So I don't know. The second time around. Oh, go ahead.
No, please. The second time around, what?
I was to say the second time around, I feel like that wasn't really a worry. I feel like just because, I think the only worry was, I think that, I don't even know. I think that we just were, there's no chance that it's going to happen a second time. And so luckily, it didn't. And like I said, things are going well so far. So, we'll see how things progress kind of over the rest of the weekend.
And for now, at least everybody has said all systems go. Everybody's looking good.
Yep.
Everybody's feeling good.
Everything seems like everything seems like it's good. We live about 2 hours. We live kind of in the middle of nowhere, so we live about 2 hours from the hospital that we actually went to. So, normally I was looking it up, and then normally you don't get induced until after your due date. But we're doing it kind of before that due date. And it was a combination of, he's measuring like he's pretty, he's already at an ideal weight, and, we're 2 hours away. So they kind of wanted to not have something happen and then us have to try to scramble and drive 2 hours to get to the hospital. So I think that's why this is going to take, quite a bit longer than we were originally hoping for.
And just to get into the happy side of it, are you buckled up? You don't even know. So in a few hours, you're about to just get hit by the bus of life. You're just going to get blindsided by this thing. You don't even know what's coming. And now it's real.
Yeah.
Your life is one thing now, and it's been one thing for 34 years. And then sometime in the next few hours, whether it's 2 hours or 72 hours or whatever, you don't even, you're about to get smacked up in the side of your fucking head, dude. Are you ready for this?
Yep. I was talking to Andrea, and that's what I said. I'm definitely kind of panicking. I grew up basically with my mom. My mom and my dad kind of split when I was pretty young. They were never married. They were pretty young. I think my mom was 17 when she had me, so she was really young. And the relationship with my dad was not the best. My dad's Native American, so I'm Native American as well. And so on my dad's side, there's kind of, some alcohol issues, some drug abuse issues. So that's kind of strained our relationship, I guess. And so that's kind of my biggest worry is, going into this process, and kind of like my whole life is kind of been lived with this thought of, trying to not relive or not turn out the way kind of my dad's life has, and kind of trying to reverse that kind of childhood or child and father relationship. So, yeah.
Well, those issues are very real for everybody, right? Like sorting out dad stuff. Those are real for anybody on any given day. But I have to imagine when you are in the delivery room waiting for your first child to be born, thinking about fatherhood as a concept, and then thinking about how you are now part of this chain of fatherhood, when it sounds like your dad's link in that chain was strained, if not outright broken. I'm like, that's head spinning. That's head spinning.
Yeah, definitely. And I've kind of had that. That's always been the kind of the crappy thing with the relationship with my dad is growing up. I don't know if you know how custody works or whatever. You'd spend weekends or so every other weekend with my dad, or during the summer, I'd be there with him for a few months, and that's always been like the tough thing is, I've always told everybody that, my dad was a great dad when he was there. It's just a lot of the times he wasn't there. And a lot of the times, even when he was there was, like I said, a lot of alcohol usage. So it's tough, but, being 34 years old, I've kind of had, quite a while to kind of process that. I haven't really sat down and had a conversation with him for probably, a real conversation with him outside of, a quick conversation at like our wedding and stuff for probably 2 decades now. Or maybe not that much, but maybe 15 years or so. And so,
Yeah.
I've kind of had time to process it, and, I don't really blame him because, like I said, there's that history of, I know that he didn't have a great childhood growing up, and he didn't have that great relationship with his father. So I don't really blame him. It's just, I'm not sure that if that relationship will ever get kind of repaired or mended. But, going forward, it makes me realize how important it is to make sure that kind of generational abandonment, or I don't know what you'd call it, but that kind of stops with me, That's kind of my goal.
Yeah, that's a hell of a thing to be thinking about right now. But I get why you are. I get why you are. I mean, it already sounds like you've made such a firm commitment to it. And it sounds like you've already thought so much about what type of dad you want to be.
Yeah, I don't want my kid to feel, kind of the way that I felt growing up. I don't want my child to kind of have those same, thoughts as a younger kid, like, why isn't my dad around? Why did he leave type of thing. And I don't want my kid to be nervous around me because I'm drinking, stuff like that. Just small things like that. Like, I don't want that to be any type of worry, my kid.
Yeah. Now, those are like the big issue pictures, and I get it.
Mm-hmm.
And who knows how they're going to flare up as you actually dive into this. That being said, are you also ready for the smaller life adjustments, as in you are going to have feces and urine on your body a lot of the time now? You are going to, at some point, leave your house and look down, and only once you're far enough away from your house that you can't really go back will you realize that there's vomit on your shirt, and you're just now at work or sitting down at a dinner table and there's vomit on you. Are you ready for these things? Are you ready for putting together baby furniture with poorly shot YouTube instructionals? Are you ready for being woken up literally every 25 minutes for the next year and a half of your life? Are you ready for these things? Have you gone and taken the classes? Have you done all that side of things?
We haven't done any classes, and
you're just going in. You're raw dogging it.
And I definitely don't. I wouldn't say I'm ready, but I know that I'm going to have to be. I know that it's going to be a major, major adjustment, like a lot of, obviously. But I think that's kind of my main worry is the sleep aspect of things, because I imagine that's going to be.
Has no one broken it down to you? Has no one broken down this cycle to you of how this works?
I mean, I don't know like the specifics. I know that obviously the lack of sleep is definitely a thing. We're going to be up all night, but
Dude, and you're calling me from... Okay, let me give you the crash course. Can I just give you the crash course?
All right. Yep. I'm ready for it. Yeah, I need it.
Here's the thing, right? I remember my birthing class, I was shocked because they basically said a baby like sleeps for like 25, 30 minutes, wakes up, screams and yells, needs to be changed, needs to be fed, plays for like 10 or 15 minutes, falls back asleep for like 30 more minutes, and just kind of does that on a loop for the first few like months. Like honestly,
So you're just a walking zombie then at that point.
Has no one explained this to you, man? Is this really the first time someone's telling you about this? You're in the goddamn delivery room?
No, I mean, obviously I know that sleep deprivation is going to be a thing, but no, I mean, I guess I haven't heard the specifics of every 20 minutes. No, I mean, I assumed that it's going to be frequently, but not every 20 minutes. So that's a bit of a surprise.
I forget exactly what every 20 minutes might not. That might be an exaggeration, but in reality, it's like there's kind of like if I remember right, maybe like a 3-hour loop that happens 8 times a day. And it involves a lot of crying and feeding and changing, and then brief respites where you're actually just like chilling out and hanging out and bonding with the child. But most of it is begging them to sleep, scrambling to get sleep when they're asleep or get things done when they're asleep, or you're cleaning up puke, pee, poop. You're scrambling to make food in moments where there's chaos. You should have looked this up. You should have like read a book or taken a class before maybe right now.
Well, I've read a lot of books. I mean, we've read a lot of books actually. They just don't break it down after the fact too much. At least the books that I've read, it's kind of all getting you ready for, the months leading up to it, and then all the decisions you need to make during the process, like whether or not to do the delayed cord clamping and all that jazz, what shots you need to get and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think all the other stuff, like my wife isn't nervous at all. She's kind of just been chill throughout this whole process. And so I think having her there is going to be really helpful for me. And I mean, obviously, yeah, it's going to be a hell of a learning curve, but I don't have any other choice. So,
yeah, I'll also do this though, because I'm doing something that I grew to really resent, which is everybody tells you about. You never sleep. Everybody loves to tell you, and it's true. I'm not gonna lie, but the thing that I wish people did spend more time talking about is like it's so cool. It's so fun. There's a reason people have kids. It's fun to hang out with a baby, and it's fun to wake up and realize like, oh, that's my baby. I helped make that, and now I get to hang out with it. And I'll tell you what though, as the dad, another thing is like there's very small moments of connection, but those first moments of connection with you, I remember them happening like 3, 4, 5, 6 months in. Hardcore. But those first few months, I was just like, what is this creature yelling at me? Why is this little animal so upset all the time? And I'm trying to help. But it's also just the best, most fun, cool shit in the world. And I'm really excited for you. And for anybody out there who wants to remain childless, I'm jealous. There's a lot of aspects of that childless life. Like, I'm not saying everybody has to do it, but for those of us who do, I'm really, really psyched for you. Because sometime in the next day or so, this thing's going to drop on you from the sky like a ton of bricks, but it's also the most fun, cool shit I've ever done.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of what I've heard from, obviously, like I said, we're in our 30s. So a lot of our friends have had kids for a while now, and always been asking us, when are you guys going to have kids? When are you going to have kids? And, they're always telling us how, especially once they found out that we got pregnant, they're always telling us, how great it is and whatnot. So, I mean, like I said, right now I'm still at the point where it's still like we're in the hospital and it still doesn't feel real. Like I think it'll feel real, once he's actually here, but up until then, like it's still just it doesn't seem real.
Yeah. I'm psyched for you. It's awesome. It's really awesome. And it's so hard. It's so difficult, but it makes life so basic too.
Yeah.
It just kind of realigns all your priorities in a way where you're like, I guess I just need to keep this thing like alive and fed and dry and laughing. If I can keep this thing dry, fed, and laughing, then I'm accomplishing my goals. That's a good feeling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm excited. I think that this first year is going to be pretty stressful, but I'm definitely excited for. I think I can. I don't know. I think I'm a little bit more stressed for these first couple of years. Yeah. But I feel like once I get past that, I feel like it'll be going to be a lot of fun throughout the ride.
Oh, absolutely. Now, are you also ready? You've been dating your wife since you were both 17, which is adorable. So you guys were like high school sweethearts or just after high school?
Yes, we started dating senior year.
So here's another thing. Are you ready to see sides of your wife that you never knew about when you thought that you knew everything since you grew up together? And are you ready for her to learn deep, dark secrets of your soul that you hoped no other human on earth ever came to have full knowledge of? Because that's about to happen too. So buckle the fuck up, my man. And I think we can all buckle the F up, sorry, Sally, for these ads. You think the call themselves is the only exciting thing in the episode? No, wait till you get a sense of these rockin' ads. We'll be right back, everybody. If you're out there, you've maybe heard of Ozempic or Wegovy. I've never known totally how to pronounce that one. I've seen it written down. Wegovy, who knows? Ozempic, I know how to say. Anyway, if you've heard of these things, you've probably heard a few things about them. That they are very effective, but that they're also expensive and that it can be really hard to get them. Well, guess what? That's where Ro comes in. If you've been considering this as an option, you're going to want to know about Ro. Through Ro, you can access prescription compounded GLP-1s with the same weight loss ingredient as the brand name GLP-1s at a fraction of the cost. And they've got them in stock now. If you qualify, you get them in 1 to 4 days. Remember, you do have to qualify, right? Which is a good thing. This is not some shady situation. Ro members get support throughout the process. If you're eligible, patients have access to their provider on demand for any questions. You can see if you qualify from the comfort of your own home. You don't have to schedule a doctor's appointment or commute anywhere. There's no waiting rooms. And again, if you qualify and get prescribed, your medication ships directly to you in 1 to 4 days. Simple as that. So what we are doing is providing you access to a thing you may have heard of and may not have easy access to. You're welcome. Go to ro.co/beautiful. Memberships start at just $99 for your first month. The medication costs are separate from that. That's ro.co/beautiful. Go to ro.co/safety for the black box warning and full safety information. Compounded medication is not required to and does not receive FDA review or approval. Prescription only. Thanks to everybody who helps make this show exist. Now, let's get back to the phone call. Are you ready to see sides of your wife that you never knew about when you thought that you knew everything since you grew up together? And are you ready for her to learn deep, dark secrets of your soul that you hoped no other human on earth ever came to have full knowledge of? Because that's about to happen too. So buckle the fuck up, my man.
That's what she was saying. She's like, I've been calm and kind of chill through this whole process, but she's like, there's going to be a moment when I'm like pushing or whatever, when that pain hits, where I'm probably going to lose my shit. You got to keep it together.
Yeah, man. I mean, there's going to also be times straight up, like, there's going to be times where you like drop food on the floor and then you just pick it up and eat it because you're like, I'm not cooking anymore. And just like eat garbage off the floor in front of your wife And she'll just be staring at you, and you'll just have to be like, this is who I really am. I'm so sorry. This is who I really am. I eat garbage off the floor. That's me. That's a part of the man you've always loved and married is I eat garbage off the floor. Okay, let's deal with that reality.
So I'm assuming this is actually a true story for you then.
Oh, the depths of depravity that my child has forced me to. They know no bounds. They know no bounds. But yeah, and you're about to see behavior from this person you've known since you were 17 where you're going to go, who are you?
Yeah.
And she's going to say the same thing to you.
I can imagine, yeah. Yeah, it's going to be a whole new thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely nervous, but I'm also excited. So
it's awesome. It's awesome. And where do you guys live? Can I ask? What part of the world?
So we live up in the Pacific Northwest. So we grew up I grew up in Oregon, and we live in Washington State now.
And what's your day-to-day life? Are you like a high-octane go person? Are you pretty laid back?
I'd say I'm pretty laid back for the most part. Yeah. I mean, like I said, we live kind of in the middle of nowhere, town with probably just a couple thousand people. So, it's pretty slow going where we live. Nothing too crazy happening.
So you'll be able to just chill with this kid and insert the kid into your chill lifestyle.
That's the hope. We'll see if it goes that smoothly. But yeah, that's kind of the hope. I mean, the only issue of living kind of out in the middle of nowhere that we've talked about is, once he gets old enough for, needing to go to school, are we going to need to move to somewhere that's got a better school system and stuff like that? So that's kind of been a thought process on our minds too.
Now you're out in the middle of nowhere. Do you have any family nearby? Any close friends nearby?
So I don't have really many friends up here. Most of my friends are still back in Oregon or, just across the country from high school. But her mom lives up in the same town as us. She's got her own place. And then her dad lives with us right now, actually. And then my younger brother actually moved up, convinced him he lived down near Portland, and it was getting too expensive for him there. So I convinced him to move up here, and he actually moved up here, and he met a girl who she's got a baby. So now he's basically a dad now too. And so he lives pretty close by as well.
You've got some people who you can be in it with. You got some people who might be able to help change a diaper from time to time, might help cover you so you can just go take a walk around the block.
Yeah, definitely.
That's awesome.
Definitely.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it sucks. Like my mom's the one that's here with us at the hospital now, and she's super upset that she still lives back in Oregon, so she's a good 7-hour drive away or so. So she's kind of upset about that. But it sucks that she's not going to be here as often. But yeah, we at least got some family up here. Not as much as we'd like, but definitely some.
What do you do? Can I ask, what's your job and what are your top hobbies?
Yeah. So I work for the federal government.
That's nice.
My official title is I'm a soil conservationist, but it's very misleading. So I don't really know a lot about soil. I've only taken a couple soils classes, but basically I work for a large Native American reservation here in Washington, and I run their invasive plant species program. It's kind of like the main job that I do. And then I also work with the reservation's pretty large. It's over 1 million acres. So I work with a lot of farmers and ranchers to kind of create conservation plans for people who are growing agriculture, raising livestock and stuff. So that's kind of what I do for work.
That's incredibly specific and very cool.
It's definitely not what I had pictured when I was going to school, but it's nice. I get to be outside a lot, so I'm not stuck indoors, at an office, in an office or whatnot. I can kind of go outside quite a bit and kind of be my own boss and kind of create my own schedule and work on what I think is kind of the most important thing to work on. It don't really have to be micromanaged, which is nice.
Is Japanese knotweed a big problem in the Pacific Northwest because it's becoming one in the Northeast?
So I don't know. I can't speak for the entire Northwest. So we live on the eastern side of the Cascades, so it's a lot drier where we live. And on our reservation, we only have a couple spots that have it, but so it's not a huge problem where I'm at, but there's definitely some.
That's such a cool job, and we could talk about that forever. But if you stand in front of your wife talking about different invasive species on native lands of the Pacific Northwest, I feel like your wife might go, "Can I get any of your attention?" Are you sure she's cool with you being on the phone?
Yeah, she's chilling. And in fact, if you want to talk to her, you can talk to her for a few too.
Yeah, dude. For real.
Yeah, if you want to.
Great.
All right, I'll hand you over.
Hello.
Hello. First of all, congratulations on everything that's happening. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
Second of all, I keep telling this guy, he might not want to be on the phone with me right now.
Oh, it's okay. He's elated. I'm excited for him too. So
it just seems like there might be bigger fish to fry than getting on Beautiful Anonymous when you've already had labor induced. It seems like maybe we want to put the game face on and focus up.
What's funny is I was telling him and his mom, I was like, why don't you guys go down to the park and take a walk by the river? It'll be a while.
Now, I can already tell that you're a very sweet person in your countenance, but that sounds like a very kind way to tell people, I just need you guys to fuck off for a little while. True or false?
It's funny. Yes, exactly. Last night I was like, don't come in the room.
Oh, boy. I've been telling him he's got to buckle up. I told him he's about to see sides of you and vice versa. You're about to see sides of him that neither of you knew existed when you were just high school sweethearts.
It's funny. I told him I've been really, really chill throughout this whole pregnancy. And everyone's like, are you nervous? And I'm like, no, I'm not really nervous. And as we were coming in, I was like, you need to understand that you're going to have to be super patient because there is going to be a moment where I'm not going to be so nice.
So you've warned him. Yes, you can feel the storm clouds brewing.
Yeah. Actually, it was funny. I was listening to you guys talk and how he's like, it doesn't feel real. I'm concerned about putting him in a car seat.
Oh, that ride home, prepare for the scariest ride of your life. There's nothing scarier
especially
than the ride
since we
home.
have 2 hours.
Oh, it's a 2-hour drive. Yeah, that's rough. Mine was 40 minutes, and I was so scared the entire time. They'll help you get the little one in there, though. They'll help strap him in. But yeah, you'll never drive more carefully than on that ride.
You're probably right. Luckily, my husband will be driving.
We'll bleep his
That's the
name.
first thing he said. If you have, yeah, he's like, the first thing that he told me is don't say names.
There's really only one rule, but you know what? I can excuse it because you're an expecting mother. So they've got you they've given you the shots. They're ready to get this guy going. You could have a contraction on the phone right now.
Yeah, we've been going since my first medication was administered at 8:30 last night.
And he expressed in a way that I thought was so crystal clear, in a way where I'm like, I get why you're worried about this, but if you've already got this much of a vision of it, said his relationship with his dad, not the best. But now you're sitting there. How do you think this guy's going to do as a dad? I'm getting a real good sense of your husband on this one, but I'm wondering how you feel.
I think that he's going to be a great dad. I think that there's going to be learning curves for both of us, being new parents. And I've spent a lot of time around young kids and babies, and I have a little bit more experience in that respect. But I think he's going to be a lot more patient than I am. So I think that there's going to be things that he's going to be better at, and there's going to be things that I'm better at. And we're going to come together just like we do in our relationship in the last 17 years we've been together and figure out the best way to make it work.
I mean, that's the most adorable, well-reasoned, balanced answer I could imagine. I also feel like in 18 months, if I talk to you then, you might be like, he's dropping the fucking ball and he can't fulfill any of the fucking basic requirements I need as someone who needs help with this. And that's fair too. And at that point, it might not be, we just fill in each other's blanks, form a super team.
I mean, you know our strengths and weaknesses. This is a whole new ball game, obviously. So I expect there to be that huge learning curve. But like the rest of life, we've been together for half our lives. So we figured it out, and I think we can figure this out. We planned, and you can never be fully prepared. But I think as far as like our relationship and like our values and everything like that, they align pretty closely enough that we'll be able to do this.
I'm so excited for you. It's so fun. You're going to have so much fun. You're going to be good at it. It's going to be difficult, but you're going to be good at it.
Absolutely.
What's kept you guys together from high school till now? How did this one hold together all these years?
Well, I don't know what his answer would be, but mine would be that, you know, you change throughout your life, and the people that you love, they change too, and you have to have like a certain like level of acceptance of that. And it's not always about being in love with somebody, but like growing that love that's like familial and like that stronger bond that like even when you make mistakes or even when you're frustrated, that you still love them, and you love them more for the mistakes that they've made in the past that's made you stronger. So rather than dwelling on those mistakes and holding grudges, is growing from them. And I think we grow every day, and we have our little tiffs, but we've never really had like huge fights or arguments because we've been able to communicate and make our way through those hardships, and not only the hardships, but the good times as well.
Okay, well, you're a perfect couple, and everyone listening is jealous of what you both have because he seems so chill and you seem so reasonable, and I'm jealous. And I've got a great marriage myself, but I'm jealous.
I mean, everybody, we're not perfect, but we just make it through and love each other the way that a family should love each other, and accept accept the things that are bad about each other and move on from that.
Okay, let's pause right there because now we're all just falling in love with everybody on the phone today. Let's just everybody all fall in love, huh? Hey, we've got some ads. We'll be right back. Tell you something about me. I am not great at sleeping in the summer because I toss and turn. I get uncomfortable. I constantly have to adjust the blankets because it's a little too hot. And then if I get one leg where I want it, then the other leg gets too cold. And it's just a whole thing where I'm constantly waking up my lovely wife who shares my bed with me because we're a married couple. Boll & Branch is here to help you never have to deal with that again. You don't ever have to sleep hot again. They have sheets that are woven to allow airflow. They feel cool and crisp to the touch. Perfect for sleepers who run hot. Sleepers like me. Boll & Branch has amazing options for hot sleepers. Okay? And not like you look all sexy while you're sleeping. You probably do. But this is talking about people with the actual temperature hot sleepers. Okay? You can choose from a 100% organic cotton percale that's made with a naturally cooling weave. They have linen made from European flax to be light, airy, softer than soft. I have slept on Boll and Branch sleep sheets. They are top shelf items. They are demonstrably better. Like, it's just one of these products that I almost feel silly endorsing it, because just go and try them and you will instantly say, oh, these are made with quality products, quality design, and they do everything that they promise. And on top of that, guess what? They look good. You walk in, you got that bed made. They look good. So they're just better sheets than sheets you get elsewhere. Boll and Branch sheets are loved by millions of sleepers. They fit the deepest of mattresses. Guess what? They're also labeled with top and bottom tags. And you hear me chuckling because guess what? I'm someone who needs that. I'm someone who needs to be told where the top and bottom is. If it means that I don't accidentally put that sheet on and then have to switch it when I realize I messed up, right there, thank you to Boll and Branch for making everybody's life better. Best of all, Boll and Branch gives you a 30-night worry-free guarantee, free shipping and returns on all U.S. orders. Get your coolest, most comfortable sleep with Boll and Branch. Get 15% off plus free shipping on your first set of sheets at bollandbranch.com/beautiful. That's Boll and Branch, BOLLANDBRANCH.com/beautiful. 15% off and free shipping. Exclusions apply. See site for details. Thanks again to all of our advertisers. Now let's finish off the phone call.
We're not perfect, but we just make it through and love each other the way that a family should love each other, and accept accept the things that are bad about each other and move on from that.
Now, he was mentioning that he works on native land. Do you live on native land as well?
We do not. We live really close to the tribal land. But we don't live on the property, like on the land ourselves. We're probably like 2 or 3 miles away.
And is your background indigenous as well, native as well?
No. I'm Swiss French.
You're Swiss French?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. My dad's mom is from Switzerland, and his dad is from France.
And how did your branch of the family, how did you guys meet? Now I just want to know the logistics of, did you meet in high school in the area where you live now? Did your family somehow wind up there? Or once you got together, did you both come here for his work?
Yeah, so we met in our senior year of high school. And I actually moved a lot as a kid. But I had my high school years with my dad, and that's when I met my husband. And he went to college, and I went into the finance industry I did that for 13 and a half years. And then when he graduated, he got a job out this way, and that's what brought us out here. I just kind of transferred my job out here, and actually left the finance career and went into the dental world. Completely very different. But yeah.
And that's a massive life change.
Yes. You've done a lot.
It sounds like it. And you're happy where you are, and you'll be raising your son in the area where you're at now for the foreseeable future?
We plan on staying at least until he starts going to school. And the school area, like the schools aren't very great in the area that we live because it's so small. It's kind of funny. The town that I work in is so small. The population is so small. It's considered a small village, not even a town, a small village. And so the school opportunities aren't that great. So we have considered, and we've talked about possibly in the future, like looking around the country and seeing maybe where we'd like to land and put him to school.
I mean, that's daunting as well, but you make it sound so simple, so easy.
Yeah, I think it's just because I moved a lot as a kid, so moving and
this is
change
nothing new
doesn't
to
really
you.
bother me.
What's your favorite?
Yeah.
Either if you don't want to name the specific place, or even the type of place. What's been your favorite places to live?
Actually, my ultimate favorite place to live has been Bend, Oregon, and I think that my husband would agree with me. You get that small town feel, but then you can like get that country and also the city life too, just by like driving 15 minutes. And it was funny. My brother, he moved to Bend at the same time that we had, and he calls them Bendoites because he's like, I've never met people that are so patient on the road. Like, you can be in a lineup of cars and people's like, you go. No, you go. So people in Bend, Oregon are really, really nice and patient.
I don't know if I've ever talked to a couple that has collectively spread such a sense of calm in my life, to the point where I forget that you are currently in a hospital bed and they've already been
tied up to monitors.
Yeah, shooting you up and trying to get these dilations happening. Like, how chill are you when you're not giving birth?
Well, in all honesty, I was diagnosed bipolar when I think it was 21. And so I've done a lot of counseling and therapy and been on a lot of different types of medications and stuff. And I've just learned over time and working with really great doctors that there are worse things in life to worry about. And the more you go into a situation with a clear head and realistic views, the less stressful they can be. And for mental health, it's huge.
I love that. I know when we were getting ready to have our son, I had a lot of fears because I have had a lot of diagnoses over the years as well. And I was always worried about, is my kiddo going to see me have these ups and downs? Is it going to get passed on to him? And I was always so nervous about that. So I don't know if that's been on your mind, but it sounds like you have a really great handle on it.
Yeah, I can say that was a factor in the conversations that we've had prior to trying to have a kid. But after talking with specialists and my doctors and other people, it's not really a hereditary thing. Bipolar is actually usually triggered by trauma. And I mean, you can go your whole life without knowing that you have bipolar disorder unless something triggers it. So I think that the stability that I have in my relationship and in my career, my life, is going to be a huge factor in raising our son and not worrying so much about that.
I love that. To be able to take a deep breath and recognize that is really beautiful. And also, I'm sure you've thought about it because it sounds like you're a very thoughtful person, and it sounds like you've had a lot of conversations about this. Obviously, postpartum can be rough and depression flares up, and it's something a lot of people deal with. And obviously, a lack of sleep can flare things up. Obviously, eating poorly can flare things up. And when you are constantly in the rush of early parenting, sometimes you don't have time to have a fully rounded out meal or a meal that you've put thought into. You just grab some junk from the cabinet and eat it. So, I'm not trying to get on any sort of soapbox, but these were all things I had to think about too. And it sounds like you've thought about all this.
As much as I can. Like I said, I have a really good team of doctors, and my psychiatrist has been really with me every step of the way through this pregnancy, before this pregnancy. And I think that over the last 12, 13 years that I've been fighting with this diagnosis, I've learned a lot of really great skills to help with those. I also, like I said, it helps to have a psychiatrist that's waiting to prescribe me the medications and see me through this birth on the other side. So
Mhm. You don't have to tell me what it is. Have you guys picked out a name yet?
Yeah. His name is.
Love that. That's a beautiful name.
Yeah, we had a bunch of our names picked out for boys and girls, which is really funny. My husband was like, maybe it's a 1% chance it's a girl. He really wants a girl. I'm like, oh, I don't think so.
So this is like so close to being a reality, and you're on the phone with me right now. Like there's a theoretical
Yeah.
person, you already know their name is, they're on the other side of like a straight up thin membrane. They're right there, and you're both going to meet them in like theoretically,
Couple days.
if that, he keeps saying that too,
Yeah.
but, and who knows? I mean, I'm sure the doctors are keeping you filled in, but I'm like, it could be hours, it could be days.
Yep.
And it sounds like you're feeling
I just couldn't believe
nothing but chill. It sounds like you're feeling nothing but
I
chill.
just can't believe. I think the most exciting thing that's happened, which is funny, is the fact that he got through to you today of all days. We were both like, I can't believe this.
Yeah, this is a wild way to. I feel honored because you guys have other stuff you could be thinking about right now and other stuff you could be talking about right now easily, rather than filling my dumb ass in on what it's like to wrangle your bipolarity and your own relationship with your dad as you move forward into impending parenthood any minute now.
Right? But I don't want to monopolize his time to talk to you, so I'm going to give the phone back. And
Look
it
at
was
this.
really nice to talk to you.
Look at this. Is this America? Andrea, are we on the phone with America's perfect couple?
No.
Who don't pretend that flaws don't exist, who embrace their flaws, talk about getting through their flaws together without trying to hide them and pretend that life is 2 cars in the driveway and a white picket fence. It's sometimes you have to sort out your own. Andrea, that's a great point. Andrea, say back, maybe not America's perfect couple, but maybe America's most reasonable couple is who I'm on the phone with.
Right. Well, again, like I said, it was a pleasure. I'm going to hand the phone back over, okay?
Sending nothing but positivity your way. I hope I hope it's quick and easy and everybody's happy and healthy and safe, and congratulations again.
Thank you so much.
All right, I'm back.
Dude, I'm talking to your wife. I'm going, no wonder this guy is so chill. You guys can just lean on each other, huh?
Yeah, she's kind of, like I said, we've been together since we were 17. So she's kind of been my rock since then. I mean, being Native American, they helped pay for, most of my college tuition, and whatnot. But, I was lucky that, I had her there. She was, working while I was going to school. So she was kind of, the breadwinner paying the bills and kind of being that rock for me while I finished school. So yeah, I feel like we both have each other to lean on.
You two can just get each other through life, huh? You just look at each other. Let's figure this shit out.
Yeah, I mean, it obviously hasn't been easy. There's always ups and downs, but I think in the end, we realized that no matter what happens, the only ending is with us together. So.
And I asked her how she felt about you as a dad, and she had some very kind things to say. I will return that favor and say, having talked to her for a few minutes, you must be very excited to see her mom mode go into action, huh?
Yeah, I've seen her with, like I said, some of our friends have had kids, and I've seen her with I've seen kids with their parents, and then I've seen kids with those same kids with her, and it's night and day difference. I think she does really well with kids. So, like I said, I think I'm gonna be real lucky having her by my side through this. I think she's gonna kind of take the lead and kind of help me through it for sure.
Now, the first thing you brought up was that you've been thinking hard about your dad lately. Is your dad the type to give you advice when he finds out that your wife's pregnant? Is that advice that you seek out? Do you avoid it? Where do things stand with that? Because it was one of the first things you brought up.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I don't really speak to him. So, I mean,
Yeah, you said
if
you
I'm
haven't
being
had
completely honest,
like a real in-depth conversation in years, right?
exactly. Yeah. So, like I said, I mean, back in 2016 when we got married, he was at our wedding, and that was probably the first time I'd seen him, in years. And he's never really been a talker, especially when he's around my family. He gets pretty nervous and whatnot. So I mean, it's not a very very talkative person. So it's just a brief conversation, quick little picture, and that was pretty much it. And then after that, I think I saw him maybe once or twice. My younger brothers on my dad's side, when they graduated high school, I saw them then. But the last time that I saw him was like at my younger brother's graduation, which was he's 21 now, so it's been about 3 or 4 years. And when we showed up there, he didn't even recognize me at first. He didn't know that it was me. So I mean, that's kind of where we're at. Like, if I'm being completely honest, I don't even know that he knows that I'm having a baby.
You haven't even sent dropped a text or an email.
No, like I said, I don't talk to him, and I haven't talked to him. That's kind of part of that. Like she mentioned, I was hoping for a girl. Part of that is, like I said, that worry of, I feel like you hear, how important it is for, that father-son relationship. And, I don't think that I'll mess it up, but, that's something that I think about for sure.
I think you got this. And I know you've said it a few times. I feel so bad because I feel like you've said a few times, like, straight up, I don't talk to him. In my mind, I'm going, oh, like, you only talk to him on holidays, or like you text once in a while. And it's like, no. He doesn't know that I'm about to be a father. Like, I apologize because you've said it a number of times and it took me that long to hear it. But yeah,
I mean, well, without knowing, you can't really know. I mean, but yeah, that's kind of how it's been. That, I mean, since I was, up until I was 16, that's probably, the last time that we actually were close was back then, just because, he'd have to come actually, physically pick me up and bring me back to his house, for those visits. And then once I turned 16 and had my own driver's license, then it was kind of up to me to make that trip down there. But I just remember, I mean, kind of the start of it all was, I just remember, it was my birthday, and I think I was 17 or 18. And I think I was supposed to visit him, or I don't know what the plan was. I can't really remember. It's been so long, but I just remember that, I was waiting to hear from him all day, and it had gotten to, like 10 o'clock at night or something, and I still hadn't heard from him. And then I checked my phone, and I just had a quick text from him that just said happy birthday. And that was it. That was kind of like the last straw. It's like, you don't even have the effort to at least, give me a call or something. So I don't know. It's kind of just been slowly lost contact since then.
Well, I'll tell you what, and who knows how it's going to go. I'm not trying to offer advice. That's not my station in life. But I can tell you, like, when my son was born, there were all of a sudden things that I understood about my dad a lot more.
Yeah.
But then there's also things that happen where you go, like, like, I've talked about it in my stand-up specials. It was, I've put it out there in the world. Like, my dad and I have never said the words "I love you" to each other. And that's fine. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm not mad at it, but now I have a kid and I'm like, I tell him I love him like 10 times a day. It just kind of like farts out of my mouth involuntarily. Like, you have to turn that off. What's going on there? Point being, like, I bet there's going to be some things that you sit here and you go, I'm even more hurt and disappointed as I learn what fatherhood is and how my own fatherhood reacted to it. I wonder if there's going to be any parts of you that go, damn, I guess I never saw a perspective that maybe I can see, and there's some understanding there. Although it sounds like things are severe enough that that's not something you owe anyone. But I wonder if you'll have any.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I think I've had, it's been long enough that, it's not like I don't like hate my dad or anything, it's like, we just don't have that a relationship, but it's like, I've had the years and the time to know, and, I've talked to my mom about it. He just, like I said, he grew up in a, not great situation with his father. And, I had that, the alcoholism kind of ran in the family. So, he had a rough childhood growing up. So, I feel like it's typical for that to kind of run through the generations. And so, like I said, I've been lucky enough to where, I saw that kind of growing up, and I've lived kind of my life, like, I'm not going to get into alcohol. I didn't have a first drink until I was, in college, and I was like 19 years old, So I've gotten lucky where I don't have, that kind of addictive personality and stuff. But I've kind of come to the realization that, like I said, he's had a rough childhood, and then I forgot who it was, but I heard someone talk on some sort of podcast where, they had a rough relationship with their dad as well. And that podcaster had said, once he had his kid, he resented his dad for the longest time. But once he had his kid, he actually realized, that he felt sorry for his dad for missing out on, that relationship with his kid, because
absolutely.
How important that is. So he almost feels, more sorry for his dad rather than, feeling sorry for himself.
I'm really struck by how, you very gracious of you to be like, hey, he had a shitty example set for him and it rolled downhill to me. And I do understand that. It's super gracious of you. And I'm struck by two things, which is, one, it sounds like you are so committed and that it's not going to be hard for you to just break that cycle, to just go like, I'm not doing that. I'm drawing lines in the sand. I'm not doing that. Like, I can tell, talking to you and your wife so clearly, you have no intentions of distancing yourself from this child, and you're going to be the one to break the cycle, which is both beautiful. And then, I'm also left here sitting like, how shitty is it to have to be the one who breaks a generational cycle? That's a sad thing that's too common in too many families, and that's a burden on you. And I can imagine that it's exhausting and it's heavy. I'm sorry you have to deal with it.
Yeah. It wasn't always easy, it took time for me to get to that point. There were, for example, he had to pay my mom child support when I was growing up. And, being that he didn't really have a stable job and whatnot, he got behind on the child support. So he ended up having, to get, I think he got sent to jail once for not paying child support or something for just a night or two. And so he had complained to my mom saying, there's this form that I could fill out to kind of make it so I could forgive it and just be like, yeah, he doesn't have to pay that. There was a time back then, when I was younger, when I was like, screw that, that's the least he could do is pay that back. That's the least he could do. But then, after a number of years, I finally reached out to my mom and was like, do you have that form? I think we should just sign it and just, that way we kind of just, cut ties for good. And there's nothing there kind of holding on for hope, I guess. I don't know. That sounds depressing. I guess it's not holding on for hope, but there's nothing there kind of like linking us together to kind of force this awkwardness. And that's kind of cut cut by, releasing him of not having to pay that back. And so now, it's just basically he's got no excuse. Like if he wants to reach out, then he can reach out, on his own. He doesn't have to have any resentment towards me because I'm, making him pay that child support back or whatever.
Damn, that's a bummer way to end. We're out of time. But it's also like, but you know what though? It's like a bummer way to end, but also for you to be the young person in that situation and for you to be the one that someone else is failing you and for you to go, no, you know what? Set up an infrastructure where he has no fucking excuses. That's super wise for someone who's the young person in that situation to be able to do. It like really removes emotion from it and goes, no, take away the excuses so that we can all see this for exactly what it is and make that the starting point. Again, really sucks that you had to do that, but it speaks to so much about you that you were able to kind of see that and make it happen.
I appreciate that.
If you've got a few more minutes, and you certainly might not, I'd love to go behind the paywall at beautifulanonymous.com and ask you a few other questions to get to know you more outside of the things we've already learned about.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, like I said, we got nothing but time.
You honestly don't. You have to stop saying that. Like, I can't tell you how untrue that is. Like, you have honestly.
Well, right. Okay. Well, now it feels like
hours left. You have 36 hours left, and then your entire life gets flipped upside down. Like, I can't tell you how little truth there is to the statement that you have nothing but time. Time is ticking down. Every second counts. This is it.
This is true. This is true.
All right. Well, thank you so much. And for everybody who's been listening for free, thank you. Glad you enjoy the show. For everybody who has already signed up at beautifulanonymous.com, stay tuned. And anybody else, you can hear more with our caller and a whole bunch of other stuff each month. Caller, thank you so much. Good luck with everything. To you, to your lovely partner who I got to speak with, to your future kid, to all your future endeavors, to figuring everything out, to landing wherever you might land. I wish you nothing but the best. What a joy to get to talk to you in this ultra-specific window of life. The show is produced by the High Priestess of Beautiful Anonymous, Andrea Quinn. Our theme song is by Shellshag. If you want to know more about me, go to punchup.live/Chris Gethard. That includes all my touring dates when I'm out on the road doing stand-up and live tapings. It's a good time. Go check it out. If you want to leave a voicemail, the number is 973-306-4676. Follow us on Instagram at Beautiful Anonymous Pod. Don't forget to join the Facebook group, Beautiful Anonymous, the community. Just hang out, discuss episodes. It's relaxed. This week on Beautiful Anonymous Plus, here's some of what you'll get from the 5 questions.
For me growing up, it's like, when I'm with my dad, I'm with my native side. And so, I grew up going to powwows and, kind of being a little bit immersed in the native side of things. But if you look at me, you wouldn't be able to tell that I'm native. I'd say I look like a white person. I look white, but I'm Native American. So it's like, when I'm with my native family, I don't really feel native enough, which is a weird dynamic. But then when I'm on my mom's side with my, white family or whatever you call it, then it's like, I don't feel white enough. I feel native. So it's like, it's a weird dynamic where, I don't know, that kind of back and forth was kind of interesting growing up.
We've had callers before who kind of have talked a lot about kind of existing between worlds and that being an identity unto itself.
Yeah.
Just one moment, caller. I hear my son calling me, and normally I would blatantly ignore it. But since we've been talking so much about fatherhood, I feel like it's appropriate. What's up, Cal? Don't forget to sign up for Beautiful Anonymous Plus at beautifulanonymous.com.